Every year I go through this. It's taking me longer than expected to organize everything. You can do it. It's totally possible. Not necessarily recommended. It's just a lot of packing. Because right now in the moment, I just feel like I've failed. Okay, so it is day 6 and I just did a few writing sprints with Kate on her channel, and now I'm just trying to upload my last vlog. I think vlogs will now only be 3 to 4 days max, just simply because it's just too much footage for me to handle doing an entire week, at least right now. Maybe that'll change. So yeah, I definitely need to get more writing done, especially while this is rendering. So it's been 2 days. I haven't really filmed. I did do a little bit of writing, but only a couple hundred for each of the last 2 days. It is the 9th right now, and I just completed about 1,700. I have been between not feeling the absolute best. I'm not sick, it's something else. But I've also been really busy packing, which is taking me longer than originally anticipated. Because I am packing for winter, so I had to unpack all of my winter stuff from storage and go through it. It's taking me longer than expected to organize everything. It's just a lot of packing. I'm also having to do a little bit more outlining to get some kind of an idea of where to go next, as I've caught up to all of the plot points I initially wanted to do. I have a few ideas. I am struggling a little bit with some of the tension has left, so I'm trying to add that back in by intentionally putting some of the characters in a situation where they could die and remaining unclear as to what happens to them if they die in this particular reality or dimension. I haven't specified what happens yet, so hopefully they'll keep the tension high enough to make it interesting. Well, it's interesting, but the stakes are a little unclear right now because things are happening a little fast and not all the characters have information. So I'm trying to make sure that there are well-defined stakes so there's actually tension in the scenes. So that's the current challenge. So I'm really busy, and I probably shouldn't even be vlogging right now because I've got packing to do. So if you haven't picked up from my previous videos, I am taking a 3-month-long trip to Tokyo. It's a really long trip. I am going with a friend, so it's not like I'm going to be alone, but it's a long trip and there's a lot that I have to get done for it. And I thought I had prepped quite a lot before, and I did for certain things, like my medication and stuff is all squared away, but there were a lot of other things I had to do last minute, like my eyeglass prescription needed to be updated and a few other random things with my bank. So I've been really busy doing that and packing, which you might have seen a little bit of that. It's a nightmare. I'm not good at it. I don't travel very much, and you can tell. So all this to say that I am not doing well in NaNoWriMo. I think I am at 13,000 words. And when I first turned this on, I almost said a pathetic 13,000 words. And then I caught myself, because the reason I wanted to turn this on, even though I really don't have the time to be doing this, is because Writer's Guild. It's a thing. It hits me every single NaNoWriMo. It hits me randomly throughout the year, and I don't know a single writer who doesn't experience it at some point. I hear it all the time when we speak to each other. The way we talk about our accomplishments tends to be kind of negative and even toxic. We say things like, I only got done this, or I'm so sorry I've been on hiatus, or I haven't written very much. We say it with so much guilt. And it's crazy because intellectually, I know I'm a human being first and a writer second. I know that, but it's so hard to keep that in mind when you're in the middle of it. I mentioned this in my things I learned from past NaNoWriMos, that taking care of yourself and self-care is really, really difficult to do, especially during NaNoWriMo, because you have this guilt about not getting more done. And yeah, intellectually, I know that. Intellectually, I know it's going to hit me. I know it's going to be harsh every time. And it still hits me, and I still feel that guilt, and I still automatically say things like, I'm behind, I'm doing badly, I only got done this much, when instead I should be looking at my word count and saying, oh wow, I did 13,000 words. That's a lot of writing. It's not as much as I wanted to get done at this point, but it's still a lot of writing. That's an accomplishment. I should be focusing more on my victories, what I did get done, and celebrating them, than concentrating so much on what I didn't get done. The thing is, we tend to put so many goals on ourselves that it's not that they're unattainable, they're obtainable, but it's just, we almost use our goals as a way to beat ourselves up for not being perfect and for not being unchained by life itself, and that's just not the case. Like, we have time restraints, many of us have jobs, families, other responsibilities, and we shouldn't feel guilt for taking care of those things and are writing sitting for a bit. That's okay. I think there's some rhetoric some writers tend to have when they talk about writing of, you know, you need to be doing this much, and if you don't prioritize this over absolutely everything else, you're not a real writer. And that's BS. It's just not true. Anyone who has a kid will tell you that. Like, if your kid gets an ear infection, that's going to be more important than hitting 1,600 words in a day. I don't have kids, thank God. But a lot of writers do, and you need to do what you got to do in your life. You need to take care of things, and it's totally fine to set your writing aside to do that. Your art shouldn't be on some random time limit like a bomb. Like, it's okay if you take the time to take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of other things in life, and your writing is still going to be there later. And what you have gotten done so far is still worthwhile. It's still worth a lot. I say that, and at the same time it's really, really hard for me to feel that, because right now I'm feeling really guilty about not being where I wanted to be. Every year I go through this. Every year I have a couple days where I get lax for one reason or another. I get busy or I get sick. Regardless of the reasoning, there's always this guilt that hits me, and sometimes the guilt is so strong it cripples me for the rest of NaNoWriMo, and I'm unable to do more even when I can do more. Even when I get to a spot where I'm not as busy and I could be writing, I don't, because the guilt is so heavy, it just crushes me. And that shouldn't be happening. Because intellectually I know, even if I don't hit the 50,000, that 13,000 I did do, that's still worthwhile. That's still good work, and it has value. Just because I didn't hit the 50,000 doesn't magically make what I did do worth less. It's still worth a lot. I know that intellectually, but it's hard to really accept it, because right now in the moment I just feel like I failed. So I guess I need to get over it mentally. I know I do. I've got so much packing to do. I'm hoping I can get to a better mental spot while I'm packing. But I just kind of wanted to put this out there because I know I'm not the only one right now that's really struggling. It's totally possible for all of us to get out of this slump and still hit the 50,000. I've definitely done it before. I've been 12,000 words behind before and got it done in 2 days. You can do it. You can do it. You can totally do it. I've done it. I've done more than, I think there was one time I got 10,000 words done in a single day. You can do it. It's totally possible. Not necessarily recommended, but possible. But the main point isn't that we should be so at a fever pitch to reach the 50,000. It should be more I guess what I'm needing to say is I really need to focus on what I have gotten done and celebrate it versus always feeling guilty about what I didn't get done. Because it's talking down to what I have gotten done. It's talking down to the writing I have completed. And I don't think that's healthy to look at your art in that way. I know it's not healthy for me to be looking at my art that way. I know how my brain works, and that's just toxic. And I know it. So I need to correct my thinking on that. I'm trying to do that. That's what I'm going through right now. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing better, but let me know. Have you guys experienced writer's guilt? Are you experiencing it right now? Do you have any particular ways you deal with it, or just deal with it when it tends to hit like I do? I hope you guys don't have to deal with it, but I feel like this is super, super common for writers. And I've got to go. I've got packing, a lot of packing still to do. And the next time you guys will see me, I'm going to be in Tokyo. Wow. So, じゃあね。